Toonami Studios. Homesick Pilots, issue number 2. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous book. I want to give credit right now to Casper Wingard. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I'm not positive, but this book is gorgeous. The colors are so vibrant. The character designs are so perfect. Everything about it looks great. The lettering looks great. It's awesome. This book is awesome. I love it so much. I didn't realize that Dan Waters was the one that did that Future State Wonder Woman Superman book, so that's kind of fun. That's cool. Everyone's getting around town doing their books, and it's really fun, and I'm enjoying it. This book is cool. So we open up in September of 1993. It's a flashback. It's Amy's first week there, and she's just like walking around. There's like this random guy that's like, "Yo, the Ramones suck, new girl." And she smiles and walks away, and then you see that it's Rip and Buzz, and they're just hanging around, just looking at stuff, trying to find the girl. But she's on top of a random wire between two buildings, trying to walk across it, and she falls down. And of course, Buzz catches her. You're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I was like, "The Ramones don't suck. That's dumb." And they get into like a little tiff, but then you get like a whole speech from the guy. He's like, "Well, they're old people trying to like pretend they don't suck, so they play pop music, but sounds like punk, and they're just aggressive." And I guess they are kind of great. Yeah, you're right. So she's like, "What are you doing up there?" He's like, "Well, I've walked across there a few times, so I want to do it again." And then Rip sees that she's a guitar player, and they're like putting a band together, the Orphan Club. And she's like, "Well, you're going to need a better name than that if you want to make it." So we cut to the present day, and they're standing in the house. Rip and Buzz are still covered in blood. They're really confused. Like, we should get out of here. So they walk out of the house, and they're freaking out. Buzz is just like, we should get the cops, like do something right here. Freaking out, not sure how to get back in the house. We need to call people. We hate the cops that much, but we have to get back. Like, we got to find Amy. Like, something happened to her. The nuclear bastards are all dead. Like, this is freaky and weird. Like, something's going on. We have to figure out a way to get back in the house. Because Amy's all alone in there. But she wasn't alone. In fact, she wasn't even in the house, because we see Amy as the weird spiritual ghost thing floating around, demanding she gets a horseshoe back. So she's trying to like float down and take it, but like some weird light comes out of the horseshoe and knocks like the gentleman to the ground, and she starts having a conversation with this woman. And we get a couple of things here. Amy's not dead, so we learn that Amy's still kind of alive. She's like kind of just like being controlled by a ghost, but not really being controlled by a ghost, that weird thing going on. And she's trying to take the horseshoe, but the woman's just like, "All my luck's in there." So when Amy grabs it, the horseshoe like randomly just flies back to the girl. She's like, "You don't understand. It never leaves my side. One time I left it in a cab, and then I found it on my doorstep. Like everything I have is in there, and it's freaking me out. Like I want it to be lucky, but it's starting to like kind of control my life. So it's been freaking me out. Everything about me, everything I've done has been perfect since I had this thing, and it's really stressing me out." Like I've never felt rain in years. Like I met a guy like this, and it doesn't even feel real, and I can't escape this feeling. And one time I tried to, so we get flashback to this woman. She's trying to kill herself, like burning her car into the fire. The police like guy shows up, and you see like this spirit of like a ghost next to her in the fire. It's like the horse. She's like alive. She's well. The horseshoe's with her, and the sheriff guy's like, "Man, it's a good thing you got somebody looking over your shoulder with this horseshoe." So she's like, "Oh, just take it. I can't keep this anymore. If this can come away from me, I will be happy. Just get this thing out of my sight." So when Amy grabs it again, it turns into like this weird angelic creature bursting out of the woman, and you're like, "What the hell is this thing?" It's like some weird horseshoe ghost angel goddess freaking out. It's like, "Where are we now? This is our love. Bad luck will come." And it bursts through the window and is trying to fly up. And you're like, "This is cool. That would be a cool design for that creature. It looks really interesting. I really like the way it looks." So we cut back to Rip and Buzz, and they're trying to like get down the street calling for help. They see a police officer, but the person it is the person that Rip kicked in the head. So Rip's going to jail, and he's going to get charged. And you're like, "Oh, not Rip. Okay." So then we cut back to Amy. She's floating back up to find the weird spirit demon horseshoe thing. It's trying to attack her. But you realize, okay, there's some weird stuff going on with Amy, but she's luckily able to like control this weird ghost thing. So she breaks it down, she takes the horseshoe, and she continues to talk to the woman. And the woman comes back from the place, and then she's like, "Just take it, get it out of my life. I want to come back. I want to feel warmth again. I want to have those connections I've had that I haven't had for years. Like something needs to come together again. And I just can't have this numbness," because she's obviously very depressed and in a weird state of mind. And we get Amy like, "Yeah, I get it. I've been there. When my mom died, I had what the people called a break where I didn't feel anything. but now I have these people in my life and they help me get through shit. And it's like, I mean, it's nice to have that. Don't you want to have that too? And the lady just says, I don't care if my life gets back together. I just want this to stop. And she jumps off the building. And it's like, this got pretty deep. Like, I was like, okay, this is like a fun, weird, colorful ghost story. But no, it's about stuff when you can't feel anything anymore. It's kind of like, I think it's a metaphor for depression, I'm going to guess. Like, all your luck is like rolled into one thing when you don't have that anymore. Like, you see the world for what it is and you can't put it back together. And you don't want to. That's dark. That got really dark really fast. It's kind of scary, not gonna lie. So Amy kind of heads back to the house. She puts the horseshoe back on the door, and she sees the ghost of like the horseshoe guy just there like, you feel better now? You want me to do any more things for you? Like, how many more ghosts there are out there? And we see that there's 6 of them, and she's starting to freak out. Like, ugh, is this what I'm gonna do? I guess this is what my life is. So she sees all the blood and realizes that the house is kind of alive now. So something happened while she was gone. And she wants to like call Rip and Buzz, but they're obviously not there. She doesn't want to like, she's not sure if she should drag them into this world, in this idea of what she has to do now. So she just kind of like, okay, a lot of weird stuff going on there. And it's kind of like the ghost is haunting her now too. So maybe she'll have some luck powers and figure out that side of her life too. It's kind of interesting. You know, you see her talking to the house like, it's going to be okay. We'll get through this together. We'll get all your ghosts found and everything will be okay. It's going to be a weird time, but we'll do it. And we see that Rip is in the back of a cop car, and Buzz is still in the bush, like, watching over him, like, oh shit, what are we going to do now? This was a really... The more I'm sitting here thinking about this book and just letting it wash over me, the more I'm like, this is really good. It's a really fun story. It's colorful. Like, the artwork, I can't do it justice putting it into words. It feels very comic booky. It feels very pulpy of, like, a different era. You know how, like, you find, like, those artist interpretations of, like, pulpy characters and, like, that colorful pop style? That's what it looks like. The writing is great. There's a really cool story here about, like, overcoming depression through, like, the mix of, like, ghosts and luck and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting and really cool. It's got a cool punk rock feel. It's fun and unique, and I really don't think there's anything like it in comic books right now. Like, this is such a unique, visceral experience that I really enjoy. I think the ghost designs are really cool. I think the story is really interesting. The characters are all likable. I'm really enjoying this read, so I hope it continues to be this good, because if it is, we might have a contender for Best Book of the Year on our hands. I know it's only January, but man, this was nice. This was really cool. I think you guys should read it. So, Homesick Pilots issue number 2, I am going to give a 9 out of 10. And thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.